Call me old-fashioned, but I prefer the more natural look. I see the autopilot's working, unlike Sub-Lieutenant Jones. If I do that, I'll have to go on a course. Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
What is it you're tinkering with there, Jones? That isn't our reconnaissance rover you're disassembling, is it?
Well, but, funny story. While you were downstairs attending to that very complicated, laborious task, flicking that switch on and off, I've been running a variety of pre-mission calibration tests on the Beagle 2-2.
I presume that's why the floor's covered with bits of toy Hot Wheels track.
Firstly, the fact that this modular vehicular pathway simulation system happens to be mass-produced and branded as a children's toy is irrelevant. And secondly, yes.
That's all well and good, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. However, if I recall correctly, we were specifically advised that the Beagle 2-2 tended to function significantly better when its complicated array of electronics and mechanical components were positioned inside its aluminium housing.
Look, I just have to make a few minor repairs. During a centrifugal force resistance simulation, the rover proved exceedingly resistant.
So it flew off the loop bit.
That would be a valid interpretation of events, yes.
Sounds like I'm going to be required to go on some kind of scavenger hunt. What do you need?
To get the rover going again?
For the time being, that's all I feel I'm obligated to offer, yes.
I think the rigorous nature of the, test may have burned out the main motor.
I see. So, I'll have to find something to create some sort of electromagnet that'll revolve when a current is passed through it. I'll have to fashion a pulley system of sorts to drive power to the wheels. Something with a taut elastic band should do the trick, like an alluring undergarment. Now, if I was to remove the elastic...
Alternatively, but you could just always grab me a spare. We've got a cupboard full of them.
Who's driving the boat?
Nobody. We're tied. I turned the autopilot on.
She was only installed a week ago and already her standards are slipping. I don't suppose you noticed anything out of the ordinary earlier when I was performing that emergency systems reset procedure. Specifically immediately once the power came back on.
No. Why, should I have?
Well, I don't know. Probably not. Forget I mentioned it. Be sure to put your toys away when you're done. It's Wales' own son, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. I don't suppose you'd have any use for this premium German motorized screwdriver?
Ah, cheers, Bert.
Sub-Lieutenant Jones! What are you doing?
Relax, Bert.
Relax! Do you have any idea how expensive parts and servicing are for that thing?
Look, I have an idea.
I'm sorry, I presumed that was the motor I could smell burning.
Look, we can replace the motor in the Beagle with the motor in this screwdriver. It's probably more reliable than our own spares anyway.
Great thinking, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Why? It's intuitive thinking like that that won us the war.
Of independence?
No, the other ones.
For the last time, the left stick moves it forward and back. The right stick turns it left and right. Do I have to repeat?
By Jove, it works!
In 600,000 yards, your destination will be on the right. You've reached your destination.
Sub-Lieutenant Jones, we've arrived! The new world! Quickly, break open a container of property of ER2 flags and prepare a landing party!
As much as I'd love to jump onto the surface and soak up the radioactive atmosphere of this uncharted, most likely fatally hazardous planet, I think it may be an idea to send the Beagle 2-2 down first, just to get a feel for the place.
I considered your suggestion, Sub-Lieutenant Jones, and have made the executive decision to send the Beagle 2-2 down for a quick recce, prior to making our own triumphant descent. The extra time will allow us to properly consider which 19th century member of the aristocracy to name this place after.
Launching probe.
What the devil? Sub-Lieutenant Jones, quickly! We've been outmaneuvered! Someone's got here before us! We need to find out who that jolly well is and eject them from Her Majesty's new world post-haste. Set us down! Sub-Lieutenant Jones, where have we landed?
We've landed on an uncharted rock structure, somewhere outside the range of what was previously understood to be the limit of human interstellar travel.
I see. So, Sub-Lieutenant Jones, what exactly do we know about this place?
Well, it's an uncharted rock structure, somewhere outside the range of what was previously understood to be the limit of human interstellar travel.
I see. I don't suppose you could enlighten the audience with anything a little more specific?
Look, I'm called Aled Jones, probably the most generic, stereotypical Welsh name in existence. It's clear that whoever's writing this hasn't bothered doing a terrible amount of research. I wouldn't count on anything specific.
How will we go about finding the location of the Beagle 2-2? Presumably we have some kind of app for that.
I'm afraid not. We could download one. Only costs 69p.
69 pence? Not bad when it's free. Right, the plan is, we head out, walk around aimlessly, look at a load of stuff eliciting a series of wry remarks, then start clicking everywhere until something happens.
I'll linger in the background and provide a series of hints if you feel things are a little too vexing.
Why break tradition, eh, Sub-Lieutenant Jones? Let's go! I'm afraid I've nothing useful to hand. No doubt filled with epic loot, as they say on the YouTubes. Reinforcements have arrived.
Ah, cheers, mate.
It's a rock. This is one of those situations where you're stuck between a rock and, well, more rocks. If I do that, I'll have to go on a course.
Look, boyo, over there,
Where?
by that rock.
Would it trouble you immensely to use another point of reference, Sub-Lieutenant Jones?
Fine, boyo, by that gorilla.
Good grief! That's the second biggest monkey I've ever seen.
I think he's holding the Beagle 2-2.
Put that down, you damn dirty ape! Come on, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Let's get after him.
Not so fast, you English mongrels. What do we have here, Pierre? Ah. Ouais, I see. Well, it would appear that you are too late, monsieur.
English. Captain Frank Lee English.
I'd just like to clarify that I'm not actually English. I'm Welsh.
Monsieur English and Monsieur Welsh. It would appear that you have been too late. Mon subordinate Pierre and moi have beaten you and your queen to this rich, fertile, nouveau world.
It's a bit rocky.
Little bit rocky, ouais, petit landscaping required. But soon, the ground you are defecating with your presence will be the location of my vast winery, growing the sweetest French crepes the world has ever tasted. And everyone will eat crepes, wear berets, carry baguettes, ride bicyclettes, and all the other things we French like to do.
You're insane.
Am I? And how are you going to stop me?
I fear you underestimate the extent to which a conceited self-confidence, fueled by national historical achievements, can profit one in such circumstances.
Ha! We've been perfecting this same method for centuries. You'll have to do better than that.
We intend to ridicule you into submission, exhausting an extensive list of social stereotypes conceived through years of suspicion and ignorance.
Then what? Are you going to celebrate with a petit crumpet? Eh? Wash down with a cup of tea? Expose your crooked teeth while you laugh regaling this tale with your unsatisfied wives? Ha! You can play that game, Monsieur English.
Honestly, I imagine this standoff will be resolved through the completion of some sort of moderately juvenile, yet entertaining puzzle.
How can you be so sure?
Well, it's got us this far. By the power of Grayskull, I have the power!
Oh, mon Dieu, I can't believe you actually said that.
Well, we could... Look! A three-headed monkey! Where? Quick, Sub-Lieutenant Jones, run!
Oh, merde! How did I fall for that? Okay, you're right. I am too trusting. Pardonnez-moi, I'm a sucker for the blue eyes. What now, boyo?
Well, before we can legitimately lay claim to this new world, we need to remove their flag and hoist ours in its place.
Why?
Didn't they teach you history at school, Sub-Lieutenant Jones? That's just how these things work. No point leaving without a souvenir. I'm not adverse to getting my hands dirty, it's just... Well, I tend to leave that sort of thing to Alan Titchmarsh. It really does look nice, and not too expensive. It's an Ella rock. It isn't really the sort of environment that lends itself to observational comedy. I fear I'm at risk of repeating myself. Look, there isn't really much for me to work with here. Humorously, I mean, obviously if I was a stonemason, there'd be loads to work with. There are a lot of rocks. Really the sort of environment that lends itself to observational comedy. I fear I'm at risk of repeating myself. There isn't really much for me to work with here. Humorously, I mean, obviously if I was a stonemason, there'd be loads to work with. This is one of those situations where you're stuck between a rock and, well, more rocks. I won't be long, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Amuse yourself until I get back.
I'll try and recollect the last couple of hours.
Mercifully, the... Ooh. Ay, bendito! I make no bones about how grim that was. Oh, what have we here? Either the upholstery's been woven from tinsel, or we've hit the jackpot. It's an elegant lady's purse, filled with loose change. I can't use these two together. If you want a job done around here, you've got to do it yourself. The box is sealed shut. Why, it would be impossible to determine the fate of any biological life form inside. Property of Irvin Schrödinger. The box is sealed shut. Why, it would be impossible to determine the fate of any biological life form inside. Very odd. It appears to be addressed to two different locations, an orphanage and a crematorium. It has a warmth that you simply don't get with digital, especially if you burn the sleeve as well. Preserved thanks to the tireless efforts of hipsters from all corners of Shoreditch. No matter how bad things are going, I find it helps to put a positive... I'm afraid I've nothing useful. appear to be working. There's no place like home. It isn't great for the environment. Replacement ribbons are a real biohazard. The box is sealed shut. Why, it would be impossible to determine the fate of any biological life form inside. Property of Irvin Schrödinger. The biggest floor filler since concrete. It's part of the laboratory equipment the biologist we were supposed to have on board brought. I'm not sure what happened to him. No one's seen him for weeks. Not to worry, I'm sure he'll turn up. If you could bottle it, you'd make a fortune. The technology predates most Brexit supporters by at least 40 years. While I'm here, I may as well give it a go. They're sound asleep, helpless to oppose the future forced upon them, like the youth after the referendum. Gotcha! You know the old saying? A frog in the hand is worth two in the biological science testing facility. How convenient! The cheese sticks to his moist green flesh, thus progressing this ethically questionable puzzle. The box is sealed shut. Why, it would be impossible to determine the fate of any biological life form inside.
One step closer and I'll have you made into pâté.
It's Wales' own son, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. If my moderately racist grandparents have taught me anything, it's that this should work.
Qu'est-ce que c'est l'aesthetically unremarkable block of pale anglais fromage? Mon Dieu, Pierre, remove this banal excuse for cuisine for my presence.
Gosh, I had high hopes for that little chap. Oh well, as my mother would say, plenty more frogs in the biological science testing facility. Maybe I should delegate some of this legwork to Sub-Lieutenant Jones. I'm sure he's as keen as the rest of us to see the end of this. If I do that, I'll have to go on a course. Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
So, any groundbreaking ideas?
Are you still talking about rocks?
No, I feel we've mined that particular topic for all it's worth.
Really? I'd say we've only just scratched the surface.
You're trying, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Very trying. Do you have any ideas how to deal with our continental cousins?
Above my paycheck, boyo. Don't we have anything back in the ship to de-escalate diplomatic dramas?
I can't say I've much experience with triple Ds,
Oh, I've handled a couple.
but we may be able to fashion something on board to distract them. I don't suppose you have a frog handy. cheese I can borrow? That was convenient. Don't mind me. It's salad. The Lewis to my Morse. Antoine Bonaparte. Not our biggest fan. Yo-ho! I brought a peace offering. A sample of delicious British dairy produce.
Do not insult my palate with your bland, insipid, rotten lactose. It pales in comparison to our superior, deliciously aged rotten lactose.
Well, that's diplomacy off the dining table. How convenient. The cheese sticks to his moist green flesh, thus progressing this ethically questionable puzzle. If my moderately racist grandparents have taught me anything, it's that this should work.
What is this sorry excuse for that? Is that Swiss cheese? A slice of Emmental de Savoie with its attached right now. Et qui êtes-vous? Une petite entrée as well? Bien, les condiments, allez! Don't let him get away.
Huzzah!
I hope the little fella's alright.
I wouldn't worry. I'm sure they won't harm him. They're not complete savages, just French. Right. Well, that's the first thing it'll have to go. Ah! It appears to be protected by some kind of high-tech electrical wizardry. I can't. I'm teetotal. It's empty, lacking in substance. They said this... I say, that's quite the collection of wine. It's out of reach. Surely this is a breach of health and safety. I can't reach it from here. I'll have to use some kind of range attack. Something small that'll do about +2 damage with a 5% critical strike probability should be sufficient. It's salad. Like grommet. I like that chap, but... Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
So how's the family back at Old Blighty? Been keeping up with the Joneses?
Mum and Dad are fine, and Harrod's getting ready to go to uni in Swansea.
Fantastic! What's she studying?
3D computer animation.
Oh! Well, that's a degree, I guess. Your sister studying in Swansea. Been down recently?
Not to visit her. A few of us went camping around the Gower though. Slowly the further out of the city you go.
Yes. The further the better. Don't mind me. It's unlocked. So technically that's like breaking us in. Let's try and salvage something, like a spare wheel nut, or a fragment of dignity. Before its untimely passing, the Beagle 2-2 appears to have discovered a rock. I fear nothing else can be salvaged.
Another peek around wouldn't kill anyone. It's not that convincing. How's that? Blast. It would appear that only temporarily disabled it. I can't. I'm teetotal. There seems to be little else down here besides this copious stockpile of fermented grape juice. Don't be fooled by the rocks that I've got. I'm still Francis from, Doggy. How's that? Let's take the opportunity while this is offline to do a spot of rebranding outside. With this offline, we'll be able to finally remove that symbol of colonial totalitarianism and replace it with a symbol of colonial totalitarianism. As innovative as the tactic of attempting exactly the same thing. It's empty. Lacking in some... May as well embark on some industrial espionage. Why would you... Best hold on to my weighted companion. I'm unable to find a solution to our current dilemma. I can always use this rock to vent my frustration on something brittle blowing that balance. Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
Don't mind me. It's dead, Jim. I'm not adverse to getting my hands dirty, it's just... green was never my color. It really does look nice. And not too expensive.